Now, Madi Jobarteh has spoken to us for the first time about the remarks he made relating to the issues made by the chairman of the Brikama Area Council, Yankuba Darboe, who recently at a rally in Serakunda uttered remarks in which Madi Jobarteh reacted. A lot of people came out with firestorm attacking Madi, saying he's inconsistent, calling for the arrest of Yankuba Darboe about the remarks he recently made. Then now Madi Jobarteh has come clean to explain to us what he meant and that his statement also dovetails with the other remarks made by one time the Agriculture Minister, Dr. Demba Sabally, and also remarks made by Ismaila Ceesay and others. So the remarks made by Yankuba Darboe, he said, was also in context, and he was worried about issues regarding what Yankuba Darboe said. Here is an excerpt of our interview we had with Madi Jobarteh.
Made this comment about or condemned the remarks that Yankuba Darboe, the chair of Brikama Area Council, made at a rally, speaking about that they would use force to install their candidate if they win the 2026 election. I mean, that's not the language any citizen should say. You know, if you win the election, you don't need to use force to install. And certainly, if you don't win the election, you should not even think about it. There are due processes in this country set out in the Constitution and the Elections Act in terms of the conduct of elections, announcement of results. And so if there are disputes where, or how to carry out those disputes, so that knowing all of that, you know, Mr. Darboe should limit himself to within the limits of the law than to speak in manner that would indicate incitement to violence. And for me, this is concerning, coming from a politician, you know, in a political rally of a major political party. And it is the same kind of comment that I saw another politician, you know, who happens to be the deputy party leader of the NPP, Demba Sabally, who is a minister, also saying that they are ready to shed blood for Barrow. You know, again, in an elections in a democratic society, no one needs to shed blood for anyone, especially for a candidate. So these two comments, I find them pretty concerning because people who are leaders, all right, or who seek the mandate of the people should speak according to law, you know, with objective to maintain peace and, you know, to be, you know, honest and truthful to the people. So to speak otherwise, that would indicate the use of violence or to disrupt the legal political dispensation processes we have. I find it to be very irresponsible, because if what Yankuba Darboe said, if we should go by that, then it means other parties also should fight, you know, to say we will use force to install our leader if we think we won the election. So that those already in power can also say we will keep our candidate in office by force. You know, so that it will be now a question of force and violence, not win or not win, because none of these political parties have the authority to declare the election, you know, results. But similarly, what Demba Sabally said, if you say we will shed blood for our candidate, then other parties would also say we will also shed blood for our candidate. So if all the parties supporters are ready to shed blood for their candidate, then that is a bloodbath, you know. And in a democratic society, in a supposedly peaceful society, the idea of a bloodbath, you know, the idea of imposing oneself, determining elections by oneself, is undemocratic, is violent, I mean, is illegal. So that I find those comments coming from these politicians very, very concerning. And, you know, it forms within a pattern at the end of the day when you look at it, because we can go back to look at statements from politicians, political leaders, and public officials, which I find very concerning. We have a lot of comments that came from the President Adama Barrow, which speak to issues of violence, encouraging supporters to do whatever to fight. And we've seen comments as well from, UDP leader Ousainou Darboe. We've had comments from Ismaila Ceesay, the Minister of Justice, of Information, speaking about, nobody's father owns this country. We've had comments from Madi Jobarteh, who's an ambassador, of this country in South Africa, also insulting, opponents. Now, why would political leaders, politicians, public officials resort to ethnic politics, insults, violent talk? I find that very problematic, and that was why I think it is high time that citizens are aware of this, and if these things are in the law, because there's a law that prevents incitement to violence, then law enforcement must take course, So this is the context I spoke against Demba Sabally previously, and now you see the same thing repeated by Yankuba Darboe of UDP. Thank you.
Well, that was it for this special episode of our interview with Madi Jobarteh. We would like to thank you for being around every time by giving us your likes and comments about the way you see issues. We would like to take this up to the next level by encouraging you to share and also engage with us on the content that we have. If you have any views, any strong views about what we do here, don't hesitate to reach out to us. As you know, always we will be there to react or reply to what you said. But let us do it courteously without abusive language. My name is Ibrahim Balde. Thank you for joining us as always. Have a wonderful time wherever you are.
I have a lot of comments that came from the President Adama Barrow, which speak to issues of violence, encouraging supporters to do whatever to fight. And we've seen comments as well from, UDP leader Ousainou Darboe. We've had comments from Ismaila Ceesay, the Minister of Justice, of Information, speaking about, nobody's father owns this country. We've had comments from Madi Jobarteh, who's an ambassador, of this country in South Africa, also insulting, opponents. Now, why would political leaders, politicians, public officials resort to ethnic politics, insults, violent talk? I find that very problematic, and that was why I think it is high time that citizens are aware of this,